mental illness and tech. Usually you don't relate these two things, but if you can tap into that 10% of people out there, then I swear, you can win really big. Huge example of this, gambling in the United States at least, has even gotten to the point that CoffeeZilla is starting to lose hope in the fight against it.
You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah.
You've tried this before with Roulette, CS2, and it did nothing.
Yep. I bet you're out there going to gamble and you're gonna be like, the odds are gonna work different for me though. I'm different, I'm special. And that same type of thing applies when it comes to tech. Yeah, you're definitely gonna use that niche tech feature. You are definitely the one person that needs the newest product that's out there. This is a weird phenomenon that has spread all throughout tech. And Apple is like an undisputed champion of FOMO marketing and price gouging the customers. I mean, man, am I crazy? But a freaking iPhone goes up to $2,000 now. Apple also rolls out new devices and upgrades every single year, and they do this so that they can hook you into the upgrade cycle. They offer upgrade programs that you can subscribe to. They offer trade-in programs so that you make sure that, you're getting your money back. In most generations, they have a gimmick feature that they're trying to convince you on to get you to upgrade to. So I feel a little out of place here at the Apple store. I'm still rocking an iPhone 12 from 2020. And I'm just kind of here like, this thing is still pretty damn good. I see people every single year, and it's this time of year again, when they're just going out here and they're buying the new iPhone. It's like buying a new car off the lot and immediately it drops 30% in value or whatever the heck it is. It just doesn't feel right. But people do it every single year, so I think they might be onto something. I'm gonna be dropping a lot of money on this thing. I genuinely wanna go into this with a fresh state of mind. Like, I'm gonna let them sell me the phone and see if they can convince me. But then we're also gonna go and we're gonna get like a slightly older phone and see how that holds up. Really see if the newest tech is ever worth it. Let's go in and see if they're even gonna let me film in here to begin with. I don't know why I did this gremlin walk, but as we go into the Apple store, yes, we did end up getting permission to film in there. They're actually kind of based to give us their own corner of the store and all of the phones to look at. But it does get me thinking about this infestation that has taken over the tech world. The prices seem to keep getting higher and higher on the things that we're getting every year. Companies are trying to convince us that we need that latest thing that's out there. And honestly, this is a fair marketing strategy by them because they need to make the most money possible. So they're gonna try to extract as much out of us as they possibly can. And as we go to have this conversation with this Apple employee, he told me that I don't have to hide his identity, but I'm going to blur and distort his voice anyways. I was definitely clip farming or whatever. I mean, yeah, well, I kind of wanted to do like a rundown of like what each advantage would be.
So I want to say, in my personal opinion, the 17 lineup is a great lineup, but they're also very similar. You use it for work.
Probably a combo.
If you're looking for a combo, I definitely agree with these two. These are like the most casual and also like the ones that have the most like power in them. And then besides that, I say like the 17 Pro Max is like, you get obviously all the features, you get all the power in it.
I've heard that the base 17 is like a really good deal this time around because of like the higher refresh rate screen, all that kind of stuff.
If you were to ask me what's the best overall deal, 17 is honestly, like if you're going from a 12, this is a great upgrade.
Yeah, and it's similar price range.
You're already gonna have twice storage on that.
Storage is a problem for me.
So what are we thinking right now?
So I was interested in the Pro because in a pinch when I don't have like camera, then I have phone.
I think the 17 Pro is the right one for you. It sounds to me like you're not looking to get like all go crazy with a big phone and stuff like that.
I was considering it, yeah. What I find interesting at Apple is despite them offering these really, really high-end products and everything, they don't actually try to upsell you within the store. I know, crazy. He tried to get me to buy the lowest end one because he thought that would be a good fit for me. He also told me that the iPhone Plus models, which is basically the base iPhone, but a little bit bigger with better battery life and stuff, he at least hinted toward these models not selling that well, and that's why they ended up being discontinued. I thought it was a bit of a shame that I don't think the Plus models were selling as well, and that's why they cut them.
Yeah. But I'm also glad the iPhone Air is here because it makes the lineup it makes it different.
But I do think there's a deeper strategy to this because now if you want a big phone then you have to go all the way up to the iPhone Pro Max. And now at the price point that would normally be the Plus phone, now there's an iPhone Air, which isn't really that good. Like, you lose a back camera, you get a thinner phone that's worse at cooling and has worse battery life. Apple is literally like running out of ideas. They're making a phone that's just thin. Not gonna lie, it kind of feels like a toy.
Oh yes,
like-
just completely. It's really, really light. It's crazy.
Curious how many people have been looking at them.
I actually see them like be purchased quite a lot.
Apple is now slowing down production on the Air because it's performing worse than they even thought it could be. And other companies like Samsung have already gotten rid of their thin phone competitor. And it seems like they're trying to find any way to get that FOMO marketing in. It's like, oh, you need this thin phone because it's thin.
I'm bipolar about the Air because one time I'm like, I like it, and then I don't. Then it's like, it's thin, it's titanium, and it's a new design, but I'm like, why?
Yeah, I like the concept of it on paper.
The biggest thing I learned though too is the most expensive phones are actually sold out.
The most purchased right now is definitely the Pro Max.
Are these ones as in demand? Are they selling out that much?
These like
Smaller ones.
like there's almost like all these phones have almost had like their own faces like sold out. Especially the Pros. The Pros are really what's like the bread and
So people flock to that.
At the beginning.
Seems like at the moment we have not even a singular Pro Max in stock.
Really?
Your best option would be to probably go to another store to buy a Pro Max.
So what did we learn? People come in and they're probably buying this on 50% APR or some shit. And they're going in, they're buying those Pro Maxes. They start at $1,200. And you know they're probably getting more storage than that. And one of the ways that they went around possibly doing that this generation, they made the Air that looks different. And they also have the Pro phones that have the big old plateau that you could land a plane on. It's so big. Those show that you got the new phone. But if you buy just the base iPhone, then you're not gonna look any different. This is all psychological. And they trick people so bad into this that even the Apple employees, like the guy I was talking to, has a 15 Pro Max, which is still a very good phone from 2 years ago. And you're still on a 15 Pro Max?
Yeah, well recently I ordered one.
Since you're still on a 15 Pro Max,
Yeah.
how does it hold up?
That's pretty well. Like, I'm not gonna lie, there is no need to upgrade for me. But I like new things.
Now at the end of this, obviously I wasn't able to actually buy the 1TB iPhone 17 Pro Max, but I could go to another company like T-Mobile and get a 17 Pro Max 1TB on back order. That's what I did end up doing. And the back order didn't actually take that long. It was about a week. Let's see how good this phone really is. So here's my previous iPhone 12, and here is iPhone 17 Pro Max. Obviously the unboxing experience for this phone is very nice, as every single Apple unboxing experience is. But let's take a look at these two phones compared. You know, the iPhone 12 is 5 years old now, and then this is also a Pro version of the new phone. So these are different price tiers and everything. Obviously, just looking at the size of the phones, the 17 Pro Max is quite a bit larger. The iPhone 12 is also 172 grams, and then the 17 Pro Max is 230 grams pretty much. So a decent bit heavier, not a ton heavier actually based on the size, but this is a personal preference thing if you want a bigger phone. Now what's cool with the 17 Pro Max is it does have a 128 hertz screen, which I'm gonna slow down this footage and everything so you can see as I recorded at 120 FPS. So you can see that the iPhone 12 is only updating half as much, it looks more choppy. Still, the 12 does have a very nice screen on it. It's still an OLED screen, so this means that every single pixel can be individually lit. Screen gets relatively bright. And the 17 Pro Max also has this crazy button on the side called the camera control button. I know, everybody loves the camera control button. It opens the camera when you press the button. That's pretty much it. Now, if you do dig into the performance and stuff, it does get pretty massive between these phones. Like, there is generations of gap. So if you were to go into Geekbench, everybody mobile phone favorite benchmarking application, single core performance on the 17 Pro Max is 81% faster. But also there's multi-core performance because there's more cores on your damn CPU. And that is 104% faster on the 17 Pro Max. And if you hop over to the GPU, so how many graphics processing can it do, is 174% faster. Then hopping over to 3D Mark for a graphics benchmark,
Obviously, the iPhone 12 doesn't have hardware accelerated ray tracing. We know how intensive ray tracing is. For some reason, we're giving our phones the capabilities to do this. So the iPhone 17 Pro Max can do this, and it gets a massive, like over 1000% increase compared to the iPhone 12. Now, what's also funny is because the new phone has 12 gigabytes of memory compared to only 4 on the iPhone 12, that means it can use different applications and tests like the Steel Nomad Lite test in 3D Mark, but the iPhone 12 has to use a different benchmark, and these aren't really comparable. But what games do people actually play on their phones that push graphics this hard? And I had to commit a sin today. I had to download Genshin Impact, and I had to make an account, man, for Genshin Impact. Oh, what? Oh, man. What do I do for you guys? In these real games that are on the mobile platform, you can go up to 120 FPS on the iPhone 17 Pro Max because it has a higher refresh rate screen. However, you don't actually want to play at 120 FPS. They even warn you that you probably don't want to do this because the phone's going to get hot, it's going to use more battery life, and really 120 is not necessary for a mobile game. So even though the iPhone 12 is only 60 FPS and it is a lower resolution, so it is easier to run the game as well, you really can cap the game at 60 FPS. This applies to a lot of the games out there, the more intensive games on the mobile platform, like Fortnite as well. The iPhone 17 Pro Max can run 120 FPS on medium settings, but even that phone in like some combat does start to struggle and dip down a bit, whereas they can both lock 60 FPS just fine. Now, what is kind of cool is they do allow you to turn up the texture detail so the game can look a little bit more detailed on the 17 Pro Max. I know, you're paying that $1,600. You can turn up the textures finally, thank God. So like on paper, the performance between these phones, like the 17 Pro Max is a lot faster. But in practicality, when you actually play on these phones, the games that are available, the graphics settings that are available, would you actually want to play at 120 FPS on a phone? And I think that's the main reason why Apple is going out here and trying to push AAA gaming like Resident Evil on the iPhone. I don't know why you'd play this on a phone, but it's why Apple is pushing it, because they need some reason to tell people that they need this feature for their iPhones. Like, you're definitely going to be the one gamer that plays AAA games on their phone. Honestly, I think it'd be a way better investment to just get like a PlayStation 5 for like $500 and play the AAA games on. It's gonna be a lot better experience. Or even buying a cheap PC and trying to do the same thing. I am interested to see how this plays out in the future though. Now I will say, because of how fast the 17 Pro Max is and how little performance demands actually are on the mobile platform, it has a large battery because it's a big phone, which means the battery life is freaking insane, guys. But I think it's time that we start talking about the cameras, because that seems like the only damn feature that improves with generations of phones. And obviously, just looking at these two phones compared, the 17 Pro Max, it tries to make a pretty big emphasis on the cameras. Like, it feels like it's compensating for something. Now, in terms of their shooting capabilities for video, they can both still shoot 4K 60 FPS. So yes, a 5-year-old iPhone can still shoot 4K 60. Now, the 1X camera on these phones is pretty different. This is the main shooter. And you can see that the 17 Pro Max handles the light flares a lot better. The iPhone 12 has like this big streak across the screen where the sunlight is hitting the lens a little bit, whereas the 17 Pro Max is kind of casting more of a haze on the entire image, which is a lot easier to work with. And if you do look closely at the background and everything, there's actually a lot more background blur on the 17 Pro Max because it has a larger sensor that is able to create more depth of field, basically. Now, in terms of they actually look like with their sharpness and their colors and everything, I'll let you be the judge of that. I think even the iPhone 12 still looks relatively sharp, especially in good lighting like this. Now, if you look at the 0.5x camera, which is the ultra wide, these look really, really similar. Like, I don't even know if I can tell a major difference between them at all. Honestly, I think the only thing that you would start to run into is in low light situations, because the iPhone 12 has a smaller camera sensor, but that's all I could really think of. Like, they look really, really similar. Now, there's 3 cameras on the Pro Max 17 here, whatever the heck Apple wants to call it nowadays, does have more zooming capabilities. The 1X camera can actually zoom into 2 times zoom with quote unquote optical quality, according to Apple. and I think it looks pretty decent. Then there's also a 4X, that's the third lens, the 4X telephoto lens. And honestly, it looks pretty good. Obviously, the iPhone 12 is still stuck way over there. You know, if you were to try to crop in there, it's not gonna look nearly as good. Then with this generation of iPhone, you can zoom in digitally even further to 8X. And here's the iPhone 12 stuck all the way over there, and then here's it cropped in. You see, there's a little bit of a difference. It makes sense for them to leave that telephoto lens, I think it's this one, for this phone, because the Pro phones, like most people aren't gonna be zooming in this far on their phones. They might just walk closer to whatever they're taking a picture of or shooting a video of. Then with the cameras on this Pro phone, there is a feature that a lot of people are probably gonna go out there and they're gonna be like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that. But this Pro phone does actually have some professional camera features. These things like ProRes and Apple Log can improve your workflow in editing. However, most people aren't gonna edit their videos. They just wanna send them to people or just save them quickly. So I don't really think most people are gonna be doing this. However, you are paying for this. Now, when it comes to photos with these phones, I'm gonna let you be the judge on this kind of stuff because I honestly think that the iPhone 12 holds up surprisingly well against the 17 Pro Max when it comes to pictures. Obviously, you can zoom in more on the 17 Pro Max. Also, the resolution, you can go up to 48 megapixels on the 17 Pro Max, and the iPhone 12 is stuck at 12. Also, the Pro phones have capabilities to shoot raw photos. So when it comes to cameras, it is actually a pretty decent improvement with these Pro features. However, the front-facing camera was the groundbreaking claim to fame feature with these new iPhones.
I'm not gonna lie, the selfie cameras look extremely similar. I thought there'd be a bigger difference here.
Yeah, quality-wise, they're really not that different, but that's actually impressive when you can do the other stuff on the selfie camera with the 17 Pro Max. Like, you can just hold it vertically and get horizontal video. Also, the angle of the lens is very, very wide, making it easy to get group photos. I don't know why you wouldn't want this on your phone, but it also isn't something I'm gonna go out and spend a ton of money to upgrade my phone for. Like, I can get by with turning my phone sideways in order to record like a wider selfie. Like, it's not that big of a deal to me. And this is kind of how I feel about this entire thing. So like, yes, I've had this iPhone 12. This thing can still browse and watch YouTube videos. This thing can still check emails for me. It can still take decent pictures and videos. Does it have all the Pro capabilities? No, but it's not bad at all, especially for most people. This phone can still play some pretty light games pretty comfortably. It still has an amazing OLED screen as well. The biggest thing really is the battery life, which, since this phone is about 5 years old and it is a smaller phone, it only is at like 76% battery capacity right now, so it doesn't always get me through a day, and I'm a relatively light user on my phone, to be honest. But the thing about that is batteries can easily be replaced. Apple themselves offer a battery replacement program that is pretty affordable. And then there's some big things like the 120 hertz screen on the Pro phone. Yeah, that's a lot nicer, but at the same time though, I can live without 120 hertz on my screen. As much as a gamer as I am, you know, like I love my high refresh rate stuff, you don't need a high refresh rate phone, honestly. It doesn't functionally change how you use your phone, but I'd prefer if my phone had it, you know? So when I break it down, this $1,600 iPhone 17 Pro Max, a lot of the things that I like about this phone isn't actually because of the newness or the specific generation of the phone. Like, this could have been in an iPhone 15 body or something. So if you or anything like me, we could save a lot of money by maybe getting an older phone. So enter the 2-year-old, disgusting, basically retired, geriatric iPhone 15 Pro Max 1 terabyte. I bought this used on Amazon for $770. Again, this is a Pro Max phone from 2 years ago with a 1 terabyte of storage for half the price of the new 17 Pro Max. So this used 15 Pro Max is the same price as the base new iPhone 17 256 gigabyte. Yes, it is used, and that means that there is a couple scratches on the front screen, and there's also speckles on the back glass, but shut the f up and get over it. is not that big of a deal. You're gonna put a screen protector on your phone anyways, put a case on it, and boom, the glass speckles are gone and you can barely even see the scratches on the front. So who gives a f at the end of the day? I'm not gonna pay $1,600, double the price for that unboxing experience. But I hear you asking, the iPhone 15 Pro Max is basically ancient now. It's 2 years old. So how the hell does it even hold up? Features wise, I want to tell you that this is also a USB-C based iPhone, which is pretty sick. I use USB now for everything. It also has a titanium frame. There's also 3 rear cameras on it. And the main one is also 48 megapixels, 120 hertz screen as well. And it has phenomenal battery life. Like, I've been using this phone and I cannot kill this phone after 2 days of not charging it. Like, I'm not a heavy user, but it makes me feel spoiled using a phone that's actually this nice and it's actually used and kind of old now.
In terms of performance, the 17 Pro Max is actually a decent bit faster, maybe not as much on the CPU side, but when it comes to graphics, the peak performance is quite a bit higher. However, it's the same thing that we saw before. I mean, the 15 Pro Max is still plenty fast to play any like normal mobile games, even slightly more intensive mobile games that you would play. So really, you're gonna see the advantage if you wanna play AAA games on your phone with the 17 Pro Max. And the new cooling solution in the 17 Pro Max does hold up longer for extended play times thermally, which is pretty cool, but I don't think it's worth double the price.
Obviously, the 15 Pro Max is also a Pro capable phone. The cameras are also very good. Actually, they have the exact same 1x camera on them. They have not changed throughout the years. And I filmed a video recently on my channel on the 15 Pro Max, and I don't think anybody even noticed that it was filmed on a phone. Other than that, the older phone doesn't have those really high megapixel counts on the ultra wide and the telephoto camera, but it does still have a telephoto camera, so you can zoom in on the 15 Pro Max. Though the cameras are better on the 17 Pro Max, I don't think they're like leaps and bounds better. The front camera is pretty cool though. So basically, when I look at it totality, the 15 Pro Max in 2025, it's 2 years old. You might want to call it a retired phone at this point because they don't even make it anymore. Why don't they make it anymore? I don't know, because it's still a really damn good phone. To be honest, it checks all the boxes I would want from a phone upgrade, like better battery life, a bigger screen possibly if you want that on the new phone that you get, 120 hertz screen, a better screen in general. Apple and every other tech company that's out there tries to get you on these gimmicks, things like the front-facing camera, things like vapor chamber cooling. Why is the f***ing plateau so big? All the people that are buying these highest-end phones out there are just gonna get this Pro Max phone, and they're gonna be scrolling through Twitter, you're gonna be filming TikToks, maybe playing Wordle on your phone, and you're getting like a 17 Pro Max that's like over $1,000, and you do not need a phone that is this powerful and has this crazy of a cooling system. And it kills me because this phone, they were still sold out. Everybody is buying these things. Everybody is getting hoodwinked to get a phone that probably is not going to change their life in any meaningful way. Other than the first week when they get it and they're all impressed with it, they're gonna be like, hey, guys, check out my new phone. I spent my kids' college tuition on this phone. There's another camera on the back. What timeline are we in that people are treating phones this seriously? And this same type of thing applies to like all of tech, because so many companies out there have realized what Apple has been able to convince their customers to do. Now, over time, we see that upgrades are happening less and less frequently as the tech that we're getting on our devices is improving more slowly every single year because of different things. I made a whole video on that. If you do want to check that out, I'll link it at the end. And even this whole influencer space and everything does also feed into this, that people want to keep upgrading and chasing the next thing and watching content on the next thing that's out there. I'm here to tell you that this is one of the reasons why I'm starting to hate tech. The consumer mind virus. If I could even wake up some people who are watching this video that tend to go out there and buy the latest things and not think twice about it. Because if you don't get hooked into this consumer trap that's out there, like, you're ahead of like 80% of the population. I know it can be a simple thing to make a educated financial decision. And if you are buying something new, then you need to make sure that you are getting the best value possible. That's what I'm trying to encourage here. I looked at the features, say it's on like a 17 Pro Max, and I was like, I don't really need this shit. And realistically, I got this 15 Pro Max. Like, look how nice this phone still looks. This phone gets me extremely good battery life. I use the pro features that are on it. I got a renewed phone that's 1 terabyte for $800, half the price of the 17 Pro Max. This phone is still so good, so overkill for most things that I do. I want you guys to be conscientious about this kind of stuff. I'm going to be returning the 17 Pro Max. I know it's a nice phone. It's definitely a very nice phone, but worth $1,600? No. Let me know if you guys have woken up to this. Did you used to be in a situation where you used to want to upgrade every single time and you've woken up to not chase that constantly? Let me know what you guys think. I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Snap out of it. You need to wake up. And peace. Wait, there's a camera control button? Apple, take my money.